Dr. Watson finally gets married to his longtime fiancée, Mary. But Sherlock discovers that Moriarty has sent assassins to kill the newlyweds on their honeymoon.
Oh, how I've missed you, Holmes. Have you? I barely noticed your absence.
Holmes foils the plot and joins forces with Watson to stop Moriarty from starting a world war in Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows.
Salim, you haven't seen it.
No, I have not seen it. No.
What are you doing here anyway?
I like to look at you guys and smile.
Smile and nod.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the most part.
David, you have just seen it.
That's
Give
right.
us your prestigious assessment.
So, frankly, I was a little apprehensive going in to see this movie. And the reason is that, aside from the Toy Story franchise, I generally don't like sequels. They don't feel fresh to me. They're not particularly interesting. However, I really like Robert Downey Jr. Okay, we got head nods on that.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, he's a
definitely.
great actor, and I think that any movie that he's in, he elevates the material. I think Iron Man is a great example
Yeah,
of that.
definitely.
So I was pleasantly surprised by this film. Just as the Joker said to Batman, "You complete me," so is the case with Sherlock Holmes and Professor Moriarty. At numerous times in the film, the two characters meet, and it's obvious that they have a great amount of respect for each other's cunning and their intellect. And one really can't exist without the other. And that is the underlying tension that drives this film. In this particular story, the layers of his plot slowly unfold. So what's really exciting is we want to see how Sherlock Holmes is going to foil what Professor Moriarty has planned.
It's a game, dear man, a shadowy game. We're playing cat and mouse, the professor and I. Cloak and dagger.
I thought it was spider and fly.
I'm not a fly, I'm a cat.
Not a mouse, but a dagger. You're drinking embalming fluid.
Yes. Care for a drop?
Now, this movie is supported by, of course, the great acting of Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock Holmes, but really also the unsung role of Dr. Watson by Jude Law. He is really wonderful and very supportive and has some of the funniest lines in the movie. But my favorite is the bad guy, Jared Harris, as Professor Moriarty. I think that what's great about him is that in the beginning of the movie, Dr. Watson actually holds up a lantern saying to Sherlock Holmes, "I think you're a psychopath. I think you're a little crazy." And Sherlock Holmes, on the other hand, thinks that Professor Moriarty is a psychopath. And I don't think this is a spoiler alert, Professor Moriarty isn't a psychopath. He just wants to be a war profiteer. That's his driving motivation during the movie. So it's really interesting that Sherlock might be a little crazy and Professor Moriarty might be pretty sane. But that's what makes the movie interesting. And come on, who'd you guys rather be? Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker?
Luke Skywalker.
Han Solo?
Okay, Han Solo, I'll give you that. I would rather be Darth Vader. And in this movie, Jared Harris is so wonderful as Professor Moriarty. I want to be him. So the one problem I had with this movie is the same problem I had with Martin Scorsese's Hugo and Steven Spielberg's War Horse, and that is?
It's in 3D. Too long.
It's too long. You feel the thud of the second act, where it starts to feel episodic, and you're saying to yourself, I know where we're going, let's get there. And I believe that when you have really big directors like Guy Ritchie and Steven Spielberg and Martin Scorsese, that they're like sitting behind the editor's shoulder going, no, I really like that, let's keep that.
All right, well, after all the evidence, I think I can deduce what your verdict is going to be.
Pretty
but
much.
Why don't you take your ticket?
Seems pretty elementary.
Pretty elementary. I think I will. Based on the fantastic triumvirate of acting from Robert Downey Jr., Jude Law, and the wonderful Jared Harris as Professor Moriarty, I give this movie a see it. Cheers, guys. Yeah.